vistas that are the envy of the globe. Now, it is a fundamental fact that workers and employers in high-skill, high-wage enterprises want to live in Oregon, where nature's blessings give them access to unmatched recreation opportunities. But you also have to be blunt and realistic. Even with what I call the Oregon outdoors advantage, companies aren't going to stick around to expand here, and the new ones won't come here if we don't generate the trained, educated workers that business has to rely on. So to meet that demand for skilled, productive workers, our state also has to come up with some fresh strategies for education, training, and housing. And I believe these fresh strategies should always, in the language of the civil rights movement, keep our eyes on the prize of reducing income inequality, especially for communities of color who've been stuck in the economy's gears with half the rates of home ownership and almost twice the unemployment rate of whites. Making sure that an African American man forced by gentrification into the numbers of East County, or a Latina woman trying to make ends meet in rural Oregon, they have to have the opportunity for a good paying job that they wouldn't have dreamed of in the past. So here's the connection. Number one, Oregon's outdoors advantage gives our state a natural attraction to companies because livability is a tangible asset. Two, improved educational opportunities, training, and affordable housing can ensure that low-income Oregonians have an equal chance to fill those companies' high-skill, high-wage jobs. And three, creating high-wage jobs for low-income Oregonians lessens income inequality for those who might have slipped off the economic ladder or who might not have even known where the ladder is. I believe this new approach can help Oregon's economy become so prosperous and productive that incomes and wages will start to climb just as a result of that productivity. I also believe the thousands of Oregon companies benefiting from trade done right can play a huge role in leading this collaboration in education, training, and affordable housing. So, a couple of words about those items. With respect to education and training, I've been able to get through the United States Senate with the help of another Northwesterner, Senator Patty Murray, legislation to improve Oregon's poor high school graduation rates with intensive dropout prevention and reentry programs, as well as extended learning time programs. That legislation is out of the Senate. It'll help turn around our low graduation rates. This morning, Senator Merkley and I laid out a bill that for the first time would create incentives for states to freeze or lower tuition rates. And that's particularly important for the Oregon students who are faced with the prospect of trying to figure out how to pay for college at a time when these costs are just going through the stratosphere. And I think that Oregon businesses and labor can play a complementary role to these kind of government efforts by helping us build new collaborations that use education and training to reduce income inequality. If you want a textbook case for this kind of collaboration, visit in Yamhill County the Carlton Meggitt Partnership. There, the company immerses itself directly in the high school by providing top-notch equipment and exposure to manufacturing techniques and machinery used to make polymer-related seals for the aerospace industry. It is a pocket of excellence. It is in Yamhill County. There are a lot more pockets of excellence that we could create all across the state. And I think what we ought to be doing is working together to create an Oregon infrastructure spearheaded by the business community, companies like your very own, to bring this Yamhill Carleton mega type of partnership to scale in every single part of Oregon. In a similar vein, the business community also has an opportunity to play a bigger role with Oregon educators to build the kind of curriculum that will meet your needs or help you start internship programs with high schools and community colleges to help local students get a foot in the workplace door. This morning, Senator Merkley and I heard about students that were giving up when they were 13 or 14 years old. We customarily think about students 16, 17, and 18 talking about college. We've got to get you all together with those kind of students and bring about the collaboration that's going to give them hope. And you're going to have my help in doing this. And I want to close by talking about affordable housing. Obviously, paying the rent, let alone buying a house, is a huge struggle for way too many Oregonians. Workers in Oregon ought to be able to earn a wage that lets them pay the rent while socking away enough to become a first-time homebuyer. So because we're going to play a bigger role in the global economy, I would propose that we work together on approaches like having profit sharing play a bigger role in the Oregon economy. The benefits of that are twofold. Workers get a stake in their employer's success, and those employees would get help both paying the rent and eventually being able to buy that first home. This is not the only approach a business can employ to tackle the problem, and one other approach that I like very much is what's called employer-assisted housing. And here again, you have a win-win situation where employers commit to helping their employees achieve home ownership or afford rent, and very often do so where it's close to work. This helps working families put a roof over their heads while also helping employers recruit and retain qualified workers and improve community relations. Now, in saying this, in talking about the kind of collaborations that we can do right here at home, I want it understood that I think there's got to be an activist role that is bipartisan in the Congress, and Sally mentioned Orrin Hatch, that tackles these issues. So rest assured, for example, on that last item, I've got plenty of homework as well for affordable housing. And I'd like to announce tonight, as part of federal tax reform, I am going to do everything I can to target more of the tax relief to hard-hit renters and families trying to save up for a down payment on a first home through a fresh combination that takes the best of what we learn about affordable housing approaches that we develop here in Oregon. I'm going to close by going back to our history. We've had wonderful OBA winners, from Barbara Roberts to Margaret Carter, of course our own inspiring Dave Frohnmeyer. I took his torts class on the first day of law school. He always did me a favor by never saying where I came in the law school class. What an inspiring person he was, and Marla really did him justice. And the common theme in all the building blocks that these wonderful leaders laid is that they recognize that no party has an exclusive hold on statesmanship. And boy, was it great to see the accounts of those lions that I remember so well when I first came to Oregon more than 4 decades ago. Wayne Morris demonstrated his statesmanship, one of 2 who voted against the Vietnam War. And if you ever want to see a picture, a snapshot of Oregon independence, I can show you the picture of Wayne Morris putting his seat in the middle of the United States Senate, between the 2 rows, between the Democrats and Republicans. He said, nobody's meeting my agenda now. I'm going to sit right here until people address the real issues. And the second, of course, is Tom McCall, who certainly understood the advantages of what I've described tonight as Oregon's outdoor advantage. If Wayne Morris and Tom McCall were around today, I just ask you to try to imagine their anger about Oregon being mired in the middle of the pack on income inequality. I can tell you, since I knew both of them, they would be thundering that it is nowhere near good enough for our wonderful state to accept a mediocre grade in reducing income inequality. Those leaders, the OBA leaders, they would do everything in their power to end that dubious distinction. And I want you to know, as long as I have this terrific honor to represent Oregon in the United States Senate and collaborating with all of you, I'm going to pick up on exactly the work they'd be doing now, and that is working with all of you and elected officials of both political parties to reduce income inequality. Thank you for having me. If you wear a hat like this and you're really tall and your pants are short, you will look exactly like a drugstore Abe Lincoln.
Well, let me try that out. This is yours.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Secretary of Interior, Sally Joel, and U.S. Senator Ron Wyden are Statesmen of the Year. And you can actually stay standing because the evening is completed. Thank you for coming. Grab the vase in the middle or Rochambeau for it, and thank you for coming to the Statesman Dinner.